Hello everyone, Redstone here again, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about the player direction detection circuit that I showed last time. First of all, I managed to make it significantly smaller. As you may remember, the smallest that it was before was a footprint of 9 by 6 by 5. Or was it 6 by 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 by 6. Yeah, 9 by 6 by 6. This version of it, which I created by reverting to an earlier version of RSNOR, just one of the first ones that was ever created. And this one is a 9 by 4 by 2, 3, 4, 5 footprint. Significantly smaller. The circuit works just as well as it does in the other version. Now, I've tested it several different times and it all runs perfectly. So now I'd like to show a single example of an actual application of the circuit. And that's going to require going on to the Zero server, so I'll see you guys in a moment. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and here we are at the server. I had to do a quick labeling on the circuit, on the pathways. So what I have here is the expandable combination lock circuit that I use for all my combination locks. It's fairly compact and I really enjoy that I can add in as many potential digits here and solution digits this way as I really need for anything I do. Currently I have it set to 6, which is pretty decent. 6 digits, 4 potential numbers. And that's perfect for using 2 copies of the player direction detector circuit. So let's say you know this combination, which is incorrect up here right now. This one should be gone. There we go. So we have a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. That's a fairly simple thing to remember for this. So come along here. And we see the sign, so it goes 1, 2, 4, 3, there it goes. Now right now there's a little bit of a delay because, well, that's just how much delay I had to put in. Now obviously you want to add in something to reset the circuit after that, but that was just a proof of concept there. Let's talk a little bit about the actual components here. We have, of course, the lock circuit itself. For each of the inputs, I hooked up One Direction's RSNOR up to it, and then had a feedback loop to reset the RSNOR circuit part. And you have to leave a gap between them so that they don't interfere with each other, of course. Which gives just enough space to have a pathway in between, which is perfect. So if you wanted to do something like, 1, 3, 2, 4, or something like that, you could. And let's see. This is obviously not as small of a space. This is a fairly big space to use just for something this small of a concept, but it could be. I'm sure that the circuits could both be compact, made more compact. Trying to think of compressed. There it is. Couldn't think of the word compressed. How sad is that? But another thing that you could do with this, just have to pull out the wand. Let's see, I want to grab just the circuit itself. So I'll go with this one. And just here. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring it over the water. Why not? So this particular application just came to mind. That's why I don't have it pre-built. Go ahead and take these out because those are extra pieces that are not needed for this demonstration. And the glass is going to be in the way. Oh, we got a lot of ops on today. Well, okay, and pull out the stone so we can make it a little bit longer here. Now for this demonstration I've been using stone for actual circuit important parts and glass to show where you could put blocks to hide things. But I cannot put rails on top of these blocks. So this still works with detector rails, just the same as it does with pressure plates. Let's go ahead and get in. We use it as a minecart direction detector instead of a player direction detector. If you had it going fast enough, that is. Yeah, that's the wrong direction. It didn't detect correctly. I don't think, anyway. This one takes a little bit more work to figure out. Okay, let's get some power rails going. Oops. Because I'm lazy. Okay. Plop down the minecart, go in, and go forward. Cool. It should have worked. I tested this on single player and it worked fine. Okay, I don't know why it's not working now, but it was working on single player. Maybe it's because of the longer delay with a detector rail than a pressure plate. I'm also wondering if an old trick still works. Now, before the addition of detector rails, you had to hope that your minecart would still stay on the track if you put down a pressure plate to use as a detection signal. Yeah, it doesn't quite work as it used to. Could work, but not as well as it used to. Okay, I had this working in single player, so it's a single player only application of this, I guess. But the main idea I had with it is if you either had a resource limitation or a design limitation that made it so you had to use a single rail going in and out of a place, you obviously would have to have your returning and sending rails merge at some point, which could lead to a situation where... let's just go ahead and build it real quick. Let's say this is your return rail, that's your sending rail. You could use this circuit to detect you're going this way, so you could switch this track over to that direction. And then if you wanted to add in a way to automatically break the cart so that it went into a dispenser or something, you could hook up the other end to trigger a dispenser that fires an arrow at the cart, and then have the hopper underneath pick it back up, of course. So in order to fill up some extra time, because I know that that's a fairly short video, I'm going to talk about this circuit here. I do not believe that I did before. This was something that I built to mimic the behavior of a puzzle from... Sorry about that sound, that's just an itch that I had to get rid of. I built this to mimic one of the puzzles of Myst 3 Exile. Great game. And it's very simple, it's just a piston tape moving things around. The idea behind the puzzle was that you had a circuit, and you had three sides that you had to worry about completing the circuit with. So we have the top side here where the buttons are, and we have this side here, and its opposite over here. And I actually built this in full right here. Well, this isn't the full thing, it doesn't have the sides on it, but this was the first proof of concept for it. For this I used the top end half slabs and some iron blocks. I didn't actually bring it all the way over yet, but it was the initial proof of concept, it works. And I'm going to be right back. I want to find the completed one again so I can show you guys that. Okay, here we are at Forsaken, and I found the circuit that I was looking for. As I was saying previously, this was based off of a puzzle in Myst 3 Exile, where you had to move these little rotating areas around until you completed the circuit. Uh-oh. Why don't you... Oh, because that. Oops. Slight blunder there. Bound to happen when you're just building something for a proof of concept. As you can see, it moves both directions. Now, these are all just two-directional piston tapes, which means that you have a piston tape that can go both ways, obviously, and you accomplish this by having two pistons at each corner and hooking up one direction on one side, the other direction on the other side. This took a lot of work to get it as compact as it is. I don't think it's possible to get it any more compact without interfering with the pistons themselves, but I could be wrong. I didn't know about the little half slab trick when I made this, so that might be one way. Anyway, the whole goal of this is to have the signal pass all the way through to the end on all three sides. Now, obviously I haven't worked on the sides at all yet, but it was a fun concept. And the overall goal for building it is to first, decide how you want the circuit laid out. You have the space between them, not only because, well, let's talk about that a little bit more. With the piston tape, you obviously have to have a certain amount of space between them so that your two circuits don't interfere with each other. And all these guys need to go. And you also need to have space to be able to fit in any logic gates that you want, to be able to move the circuit signal around, to split it, to combine it, all that fun stuff. And while I wanted to make this as compact as possible, I also needed to have that space there. So in order to build it, I used the most compact space, just one gap between them, and started putting in redstone randomly, adding random logic gates and all that. I wonder if I have enough room for an XOR or an XNOR, either one. Probably do. But as I was putting those in place, then put down the iron blocks to pass through, adding in these nether brick stairs as a transparent block to prevent the signal from going through. Placeholder, of course, is glass. And this would be something fun to add into a challenge map. If you could make it vertical, that would be great too. I'm not sure how compact you can get it in a vertical circuit, but that'd be something fun to find out. And I'm sure there's a lot of little tricks that people know of now with the new additions to Redstone that could really help out with this. So I'm going to end it here. Hopefully everyone has learned something useful or had some fun with this. I know that this circuit will always be fun for me, as well as the player direction detection. That's kind of fun to say. But hope everyone has a great day. Hope to talk to you guys next time.